I welcome you into this quiet hour. I speak softly. The room settles with us. I invite a gentle opening of heart and mind. The evening tilts toward rest. The day loosens its grip. I ask you to find a place of ease. Sit or lie down in a way that feels safe. Arrange a pillow. Draw a light blanket over the knees if that comforts. The lamp casts a soft circle. The house breathes around us. I lower my voice to match that softness. I encourage presence rather than performance. Do not try to be anyone else. Let expectations fall away like a coat. Allow the body to arrive. Allow the mind to move towards the quiet. A gentle focus is all that is needed. I invite one slow breath in. Hold just a moment. Then let it go without hurry. Feel the chest loosen. Feel the shoulders drop. One more breath. Let it be soft and full. Let each exhale release more than air. Let tension leave the jaw and the forehead. Let the hands rest. Notice how the body accepts this small kindness. I ask a small favor. If a thought wanders, notice it without judgment. Gently bring attention back to this voice. This is a place of calm, not of perfection. Allow interruptions to be part of the scene. They come and they pass. The rhythm returns. I remind you that the purpose here is gentle healing. The evening carries assurance and mercy. It does not weigh the mind with questions. It does not demand answers. It offers rest in a steady, quiet love. The name of that love appears again and again in our reading. Its presence is simple. Its reach is wide. I describe a simple image to hold. Picture a lamp beside your bed. The light is warm and steady. It does not glare. It does not flicker with anxiety. It holds a small, safe circle. In that circle, nothing needs to be fixed right now. The light asks only that you be seen and kept. Let the lamp's glow rest on the edges of worry until they soften. I guide a short pause. Listen to the sound of your breath. Hear the small movements of the house. Notice the silence between sounds. That space carries a kind of mercy. In it, the heart can slow and the mind can breathe. Stay here as long as you need. I invite you to bring one thing to this moment. It can be a single worry, a name, a tired place in the body, or a quiet longing. Place it gently on your lap, or imagine setting it at the lamp's base. You do not have to fix it. You do not have to explain it. Just give it a small, kind attention. We will carry it together into the reading. I speak of the Bible as a companion for this night. The pages hold stories of comfort and quiet courage. The words move slowly when we let them. Tonight they will come in a soft pace. I read simply and clearly. I let space gather between phrases. That space lets the words sink. The tone stays calm. There is no rush. I remind that this time is free from heavy debate. The aim is not to argue or prove. The aim is to listen and to rest. When a verse offers a doorway, step through if you wish. If a line does not land, let it float by like a cloud. Mercy meets both acceptance and resistance with the same gentle heart. I offer a short image of hands. Imagine hands opened. palms up. They are neither demanding nor empty. They receive and they release. Place your own hands in that attitude. If it helps, feel the warmth of stillness between them. This posture asks nothing more than attention. I invite the practice of short, specific prayers in silence. They can be one sentence or a single word. Speak them softly in the mind. The content matters less than the sincerity of the breath that holds them. If words do not come, that is all right. Silence itself can be a prayer of resting attention. I name a simple truth to keep near. You are not alone in your weariness. The night gathers many who need rest. The same light that watched you through the day watches now. That thought can settle like a blanket. Let it cover any cold or fear. The assurance is quiet. It is steady. It does not demand evidence. I guide attention to the body again. Scan slowly from the top of the head to the toes. Notice any places of tightness. Offer them a breath. Do not force change. Offer the breath as a kind invitation. Place no harshness on yourself for what remains. Healing often comes as a slow, patient tending. I speak about hope in gentle terms. Hope here is not a loud promise. It is a soft possibility. It arrives like dawn in the hush before morning. It nudges the heart with small reminders you are held. Things can shift. Love reaches into the dark. Let that possibility rest beside the worry you brought earlier. I suggest a quiet practice for the night. When a thought pulls toward what was hard today, name it briefly and release it to the lamp. Say nothing aloud. Let the act be a tiny ritual. Each release creates more room for peace. Oberteam. These small acts gather into a larger ease. I remind the listener that mercy often comes through small, ordinary things. A cool sip of water, a warm blanket, a remembered kindness. The Bible stories we hear teach by these small mercies. They do not always change circumstance at once. They change the heart's capacity to receive and to rest. I offer an image of Christ's presence as a steady companion. Imagine a quiet friend sitting near the lamp. No words intrude unless invited. The presence is warm and patient. It knows the whole story and stays anyway. This companionship is not about fixing but about being with. Let that thought accompany each breath. I encourage a posture of listening rather than watching. Close the eyes if that helps. Let the eyelids be soft. If you keep them open, soften the gaze. Avoid searching for meaning like one searches for a lost object. Instead, receive. What comes as a friend might drop something helpful into your hand. I set a gentle pace for the reading that follows. I will read slowly. I will pause to let the words breathe. I will not rush. Between passages, I will allow silence to gather. Use that silence. Let it be a place to settle deeper. I offer a small invitation to gratitude. This need not be elaborate. Name one quiet thing from the day that felt like a small mercy. It may be the taste of a simple meal. Asudunlath, a quiet moment of rest, or a memory of kindness. Hold that small mercy as a seed in the palm. It can grow in the night. I remind again that this space is safe. No performance is required. No checklist of faith is needed. The only requirement is presence. Bring what you are. The reading will meet you there. It will not demand a response beyond being received. I fold the invitation into a short moment of silence. In that silence, feel the lamp glow a little brighter. Notice how the body leans into rest. Feel the breath. Find a calmer manner. Keep attention on the steady pulse of living. The night holds this rhythm like a song. I invite one more breath together. Breathe in slowly, counting as you like. Hold the breath for a tender second. Release with the thought of letting go. Let the exhale carry a small weariness away. Let the inhale bring a hint of peace. I place the Bible gently before me. The cover feels familiar under the hand. I do not rush the opening. The pages fold softly. The voice prepares to read. The first passage will come in a measured pace. There will be pauses for your listening and for the room's breathing. I close this welcome with a clear, calm intention. The evening will be a safe path toward rest. The readings will offer comfort, mercy, and hope. They will not press for answers. They will open a space where the heart can be tended. I prepare now to begin the first passage. My hand rests on the page. I take a steady breath. The lamp glows. The house breathes. We move forward in care. I open the Bible and let my hand rest on the page. The paper is cool and soft under the fingertips. I slow my breath to match the quiet of the room. The lamp by the bed throws a pool of gentle light. I look up for a moment. Then I lower my voice to read. I read Psalm 4:6-1, 0 slowly. I let each word have room. I say, "Be still, and know that I am God." I pause. I let the meaning of that phrase sink into the air between us. The pause is long enough to be kind. The instruction to be still is an invitation first. It is not a command that glances off the tired places. It sits with them. It rests beside what is weary. The phrase asks for a small movement of attention. It asks for a breath that arrives without hurry. Listen with me to the rhythm of that listening. Breathe in a soft count of 4. Hold a gentle beat. Exhale in a slow sweep. Feel the chest soften on the out-breath. The shoulders relax a quiet degree. The jaw unclenches just a little. No force. No strain. Let the body accept the small kindness of stillness. I describe a simple scene. Imagine a small boat floating in a wide, still harbor. The water carries it without fuss. The boat does not strain. The sky bends low and safe. In the harbor, movement is gentle and measured. The boat knows it is held. We are like that boat for a few minutes. The hold feels ordinary and true. When the verse says to know, it points toward attention rather than proof. Knowing here means staying close enough to feel a steady presence. It is a knowing that grows in quiet. It is not a clever list of reasons. It is the soft recognition that some faithful thing watches over the small, ordinary life. I invite a practice now. Take a worry that has been heavy today. Picture it as a pebble in the hand. Turn it over and look at its edges. Then place it into the lap of the room. Lay it on the blanket beside you. The gesture is small. It does not mean giving up care. It means setting the weight down for a while. It lets the body breathe. We move deeper into stillness by noticing body sensations. Begin a slow scan from the crown of the head to the soles of the feet. Name each place with a kind breath. Softly note the forehead, the tongue, the shoulders, the belly, the hips, the legs, where tension lies. Send a breath like a hand to soothe that place. Do not hurry. Each breath can reintroduce an ease that was forgotten. I speak gently about the nature of this stillness. It is not emptiness. It is not absence. It is a rest that holds substance. It is a place where comfort rearranges the edges of fear. It is a quiet workshop where mercy comes in small tools, patience, a slow breath, a remembered kindness. These tools shift things slowly. They do not fix every circumstance. They tenderize the heart so it can receive hope. Imagine again the lamp beside the bed. Its circle of light is steady. The lamp does not demand that anything be different. It simply shines where it can. Let the light be a metaphor for the presence we name. It is not harsh. It is not bright to the point of alarm. It is warm and patient. Rest beneath that light for a moment. Allow the face to soften. If thoughts return that insist on running, treat them like visitors who ring the bell. Greet them without argument. Offer them a cup of attention, and then let them move on. Return to the breath. Count softly if it helps in for 4. Hold 1. Out for 6. This counting is a tether. It keeps attention gentle and present. I fold in a short, quiet prayer. The prayer is brief and steady. It is not a list or a plea. It is a handing over of the moment. It is a single sentence kept in the mind. Hold us in your quiet. Keep the breath calm and the heart soft. No need for words beyond that. Let silence be a companion to the prayer. There is a tenderness in knowing that stillness is shared. In this room and beyond, people breathe in similar hushes. The same small mercy touches many night hours. You are not alone in drawing this slow breath. The presence that the verse names rests with others as well. Let that widen the sense of safety for a moment. I bring Christ's companionship into the scene with gentle care. Imagine a patient friend sitting near the lamp. That friend listens with no rush to solve. The friend's hands are warm and steady. They neither scold nor force. They simply keep watch. Feel that companionship close to the ribs. Let it be the steady rhythm beneath the breath. Sometimes stillness reveals a soft ache. That ache is part of living. It may be a memory or a small sharpness of grief. Allow the ache to have space without requiring explanation. Hold it to the lamp's light. Notice how the light changes the edges. It does not erase the ache. It makes it safer to sit with. I invite a brief exercise of gratitude. Offered like a seed, name one small mercy from the day. It can be as simple as a cup of hot tea, a quiet conversation, a moment of rest, a bird at the window. Keep the image small and tender. Place it in the palm of the mind. Let the seed rest there. It will not demand bloom tonight. It will rest as possibility. We move again to a pause. I read the verse, a second time. Softer now. Be still, and know that I am God. I let the words hang. The room breathes with the syllable. Between breaths, a calm settles a little deeper. Allow the stillness to be enough. If this evening's reading brings a gentle relief, consider sharing it with someone you love. A quiet hour can become a gift. Tell a neighbor, a friend, or someone who longs for rest. Share the message of comfort and peace. If a subscription keeps this quiet coming to you, a single click gathers another hour of calm into your days. Offer the chance for another to rest. Do so in a manner that is soft and simple. No pressure. Only invitation. I guide another short period of silence. In the silence, bring attention to the steady beat beneath the left shoulder. Notice the small, dependable pulse. It is a reminder that life moves even in quiet. The pulse connects the body to a rhythm that does not hurry. Feel gratitude for the steady measure that continues in the dark. Small acts of mercy matter in the night. A warm tea, a folded blanket, a soft word in the mind, all are means of care. The stories in the Bible often unfold through small mercies. They change the heart's capacity to rest. Let these small acts gather like pebbles, forming a gentle path across the harbor. I ask you to imagine laying a hand over the heart for a moment. The pressure is light and comforting. You do not fix anything by that touch. The contact simply says, I am here. I am noticing. Let that touch be a promise to the nervous places. Let it be a place where blinking concerns can sit and soften. We do not rush out of this stillness. The hour asks for an unhurried step. When thoughts demand attention, name them briefly and return to the breath. Let the lamp be the anchor. Let the verse be a rope that steadies. Breathe with the friend who watches beside the light. Before I close this part of the reading, I offer one more steady sentence to hold. Stillness invites trust more than it compels belief. It creates room to feel what we feel and to find a soft steadiness beneath. This trust grows quietly when it is given a breath and a place to rest. I pause, then fold the page gently. The Bible feels warm in my hands. I set it down with care. The lamp keeps its simple glow. We carry the hush into the next part of the night. There will be more reading, more gentle images, and more quiet practices to come. I close this segment with an intention. We will move forward slowly. The night will continue to offer mercy and hope. The voice will remain soft. If you have found comfort here, return for the next passage. Invite another to share the quiet. Let the lamp shine for them too. Take one last long breath with me. Inhale steady. Hold a breath that feels like a soft promise. Exhale and let a little more ease settle into the shoulders. Rest now with the knowledge that you are seen in the hush. The room keeps the light. The presence keeps the watch. We will meet again in the next passage. Still together in this gentle hour, I settle back into the chair. The lamp's light spreads its small circle again. My voice lowers. I speak slowly and plainly. Tonight I read another passage that helps us name the things that trouble the mind. I open the Bible and let my fingers rest on the page. The paper is familiar. I do not rush the words. I let them arrive like soft steps. I read Philippians 4, 6, 7 inches, a measured way. Do not be anxious about anything. I say, in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. Then I pause and let the room receive the phrase, the peace of God. I continue, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. I let the words sit between us. I give time for them to be heard. These verses do not banish worry with a command. They invite a movement. They show a gentle path for the very human things that tug at the heart when the day is done. I speak about that path now. I do so from a quiet place. I do so with the steady light beside me. First, noticing the worry matters. The mind tends to hide the small, sharp fears in the background. They crowd in like tiny stones in a shoe. I ask you to bring one of those stones out into the open. Name it simply in the heart. A single phrase will do. Keep it short. The act of naming is not an accusation. It is an honest hand reaching for help. Next, I invite a small practice of presenting that worry. Presenting is not a grand speech. It is a simple offering. I suggest a phrase to use in the silence, Lord. This is the thing I carry. It is only a sentence. Say it once in the mind. Let the breath hold it. The voice keeps no force. It only places the worry where it can be seen. I combine that presentation with a specific posture. Lay a hand on the chest. Feel the rise and fall. This touch is a gentle promise. It says, I notice this. I place it where it can be tended. The skin remembers pressure as comfort. The simple contact helps the nervous system slow. I fold in breathing as a steady companion. Breathe in slowly for 4 counts. Hold a soft beat. Exhale longer. Perhaps for 6. The extended out-breath lets the body release a measure of tension. Keep the pattern steady as you present the worry. Each cycle is a small handing over. The breath becomes a bridge between the anxious thought and the calm you seek. Thanksgiving frames the act. The verse asks for prayer and petition with thanksgiving. That may feel awkward when the worry is sharp. Still, gratitude need not be large. Name one small good thing from the day. It can be a warm cup, a brief laugh, a kind look, a quiet moment of rest. State it in the mind. Let that small acknowledgement sit beside the worry. The two together create a balance. Worry does not vanish, but it does not dominate the whole field of awareness. I share a simple image I use. Imagine a wooden gate at the edge of a garden. The gate opens to a small, bright patch where safe things grow. Put the worry into your hand. Walk it to the gate. Gently place it on the hinge. It is not abandoned. It is left where someone trustworthy can attend to it. Close the gate for a time. The garden remains accessible. The act of setting the worry down lets the heart move into the small patch of light. Prayer, as the verse suggests, is both asking and listening. Keep your sentences short. No need for eloquence. A single request is enough. Allow space to listen after the asking. Listening is a quiet kind of prayer. It does not demand a thunderous answer. It waits in the hush. The response often looks like a small steadiness in the breath or a softened edge around a thought. I teach a short routine for late-night worries that often replay. When a worry returns, do not chase it. Acknowledge it like a dog coming to the door. Offer the same small sentence, Lord, this is mine tonight. Place it back at the gate. Count 3 steady breaths. Return to the lamp circle. The repetition trains the mind. It teaches that the sleepless loop can be met with a habit of handing over and returning to calm. A visual of guarding helps make the promise real. Picture a gentle guard, not one of stern vigilance, but of soft attentiveness. This guard does not shout. It watches the heart like a lighthouse, watches the shore. It stands in the night to guide and protect. The peace that the verse names is like that, an attentive presence that keeps out the tempest's worst edge. It does not remove all trouble, but it holds a safer space for the heart and mind. I speak about honesty without shame. Worry is common. The Bible does not shame the anxious. It offers a way to attend to it. In this room, make a small covenant with yourself. I will notice worry. I will offer it. I will rest in the peace that comes with that offering. This is not an instant cure. It is a discipline of gentleness. Another practice feels helpful for those who carry long lists. Create a small, imagined tray. On the tray, place the items that press tonight. Arrange them in order of immediacy. Pick one small thing to set down first. That single item is the work for tonight. The rest remain on the tray. They are not forgotten. They simply wait without crowding the whole evening. This keeps the mind from being pulled into project mode when rest is needed. If hands prefer a physical practice, set a small stone or bead at the bedside. Each time a worry intrudes, move the bead from one side of the pillow to the other. The motion is small, but it marks a movement of attention. It becomes a ritual of handing over. The tactile sensation helps anchor the intention. I remind that silence itself carries a prayer. Do not feel required to fill every moment with words. After the offering, sit with the hush. Let the breath do its calm work. Often what follows is a soft settling that feels like mercy. The room keeps watch. The presence that listens holds what we cannot hold alone. There are nights when worry speaks loud. On those nights, allow a longer practice of thanksgiving. List 5 small mercies. They do not have to be big. Keep them specific and tactile. Warm water, steady light, a friend's voice, bread shared, the sky's color at dusk. Let each item be a small anchor. Move slowly through the list. Each name brightens the garden where peace can grow. I also speak about mercy for the mind. When memories surface, memories can bring pain not easily set aside. When they come, offer them the same simple ritual. Name the memory. Place it at the gate. Breathe. Offer a soft phrase like, "You may rest here for now." The heart learns that it can hold rather than be overwhelmed. Consistency helps over time. Doing these small acts repeatedly trains the nervous system. The mind learns the root notice. Present. Breathe. Thank. Rest. The root becomes familiar. Familiarity brings ease. Ease invites sleep. I return to the verse for a final moment. The peace of God will guard your hearts and your minds. I let the words rest. Feel how guard and peace are not the same as numbing. They are watchful and active in the gentlest sense. The guarding does not scold fear into silence. It keeps the watch, so fear cannot take the whole night. If a worry needs practical attention tomorrow, make a brief note on paper. Now, keep the note short. A single line call. Ask. Fix. Arrange. Fold the paper and place it on the nightstand. This externalizes the task. It tells the mind the work will have a rightful time. For tonight, the task rests in safekeeping. I encourage a closing ritual. Bow the head slightly. Rest both hands on the thighs or on the heart. Say a quiet sentence in the mind that feels true. I bring this to you. I rest now. Keep the sentence short. Let it anchor the breath. The lamp keeps its steady glow as the body settles. The beat beneath the ribs moves at a calm pace. Worries still exist, but they do not rule. A soft margin of peace grows around the mind. It may be thin at first. Let it thicken with each gentle breath. Before I fold the page and move to the next passage, I remind gently these practices are simple and patient. They are not a test. They are an invitation to mercy. When carried night by night, they teach a new rhythm. That rhythm holds hope. I lay the Bible down with care. The lamp keeps its small kingdom of light. The house breathes slowly. We stay a moment in the hush. Let the peace that guards the mind settle in the bones. Let it be enough for tonight. When you are ready, breathe with me a last slow cycle. In for 4, hold, out for 6. Feel the hands of rest close the gate for now. We will continue after a pause. The next reading will meet the heart where it now rests. The night moves on in mercy. I settle the Bible on my knees and let the room breathe with me. The lamp throws a soft pool of light. My voice keeps low. Tonight I tell a small story I carry with me. It is a story about a cloister and a restless heart. I tell it slowly, like passing a warm cup across a table. I once walked through a cloister at dusk. The stone corridors make a soft echo. Moss grows where the wind finds shade. The air tastes faintly of lavender and old wood. In the middle of the cloister sits a square garden. A bench faces a thin fountain that barely whispers. The place seems built to listen. I knew a person who came to that bench every evening. The name does not matter. What matters is the habit. A busy day, collected like dust on the shoulders. Small urgencies pressed under the skin. The mind would not quiet. Sleepless folds opened when the lamp cooled. So the evening walk began. The bench became refuge. At first, the person tries ordinary tricks. Counting steps. Lining up chores for the next day. Rehearsing conversations that might never happen. Each tactic eases one worry and stirs another. Rest feels always on the far bank. The heart continues to murmur like a kettle left too long. One night, instead of counting or planning, the person brings a small jar. The jar is nothing fancy. Clear glass with a cork. In the pocket lies a short list written on paper strips. Each strip bears a name of worry. Not all are sharp. Many are small. A cold bill. A broken promise. The tiredness behind the eyes. The jar sits between the palms like a small world. I watch as the fingers move. One by one, the strips slide into the jar. The motion is deliberate. It is quiet. There is no sermon. There is no final solution waiting in the bottom of the glass. The act itself is simple, a naming, a placing, a small letting go. The hand closes around the jar. The cork seals the night for now. There is a ritual that grows from that action. It is not elaborate. It begins with a breath in, calm and plain, a breath out that carries nothing dramatic. Only the weight of a small thing moved. The person does not try to erase worry. The hand only makes room. After the jar is sealed, a silence follows that is neither forced nor empty. It is a careful quiet. The fountain continues its low work. The bench accepts the body. The cloak of dusk settles on the shoulders. In that silence, a sense of ease arrives like a guest sitting down. The anxiety does not dissolve in a puff. It loosens, like a knot that unravels thread by thread. I have seen this happen more than once. The act of naming and setting aside changes how worry lives. When a worry is placed in the jar, it becomes an object, not a rumor. This small reshaping makes it easier to sleep. The mind recognizes the boundary. The heart exhales. The story widens. The cloister becomes a place of small exchanges. Other people arrive with their jars. One has a pebble instead of paper. Another tucks a folded cloth in the glass. Some leave a ribbon at the rim. Each offering looks different. Each one shares the same gentle pattern to make the worry tangible and then to set it down. In time, a person in the cloister learns a whispered phrase to accompany the action. It is not a loud prayer. It is a short sentence, kept like a seed in the mouth. The phrase says in a soft way that the thing is handed over. No loud insistence. No fierce bargaining. Just a small movement of trust, like handing a child a trusted toy to keep while the parent steps away. The lanterns in the cloister are small and steady. They do not banish the night. They make a safe, bright circle. People sit in that circle and notice how their hands relax. The shoulders drop a degree. The jaw stops rehearsing conversations. It cannot change. The restlessness that dominated the day keeps its distance. There is another detail that matters, the presence that sits beside the bench. It is not always visible. Sometimes it is only felt as warmth on the shoulder or as a steady breathing near the ribs. That presence does not hurry the handing over. It notices the small jars and the folded papers. It keeps watch without judging. In the quiet, people come to call that presence by many names. Some call it mercy. Some call it gentle attention. All the names point to the same sense. Someone else is attentive. and that attention changes how a worry feels in the chest. A particular night stands still in my memory. Rain taps the cloister roof. A woman arrives with a jar so full that the strips of paper line the glass like a crowd. Her hands tremble. She slides another paper in, then sits back. The jar is heavy, and so is the posture of the body. For a long while she sits and watches the fountain. Then she breathes with a small sound, places her palm on the jar, and stays. Something shifts in that pause. The hand on the jar becomes a bridge. The breath slows. The heart's quickness settles into a rhythm matched by the fountain. The words she keeps in the mind are not long. They are an offering and an invitation. Keep watch here tonight. Let the rest of me sleep. The night honors the request. The jar does not fix every worry. It simply makes a place where the weight can sleep. The next morning, she returns. The jar sits on the same bench. Quiet in the lamp's dim. Taken alone, nothing seems unusual. But in the weeks that follow, the steps of rest come easier. The jars are not magic. They are heart tools. They teach a habit to notice, to name, to place, to release, over time. That habit loosens the clutch worry has on the mind. If I might suggest a small practice to the listener, it will be this. Find a container that feels right. It can be a jar, a bowl, a small pouch. Keep it close at night. When the mind repeats a concern, write it down or hold a small stone that stands in for the thought. Make the movement of setting it aside. Let the motion be gentle and exact. Do not bargain with the thought. Do not try to force a solution. Simply give it a place. Then breathe in a measured way. Allow the body to register the handing over. This practice is a kind companion to prayer. Prayer need not be grand. It can be 2 or 3 words pressed into silence. It can be a short sentence that says simply, I place this here. The words are not a lock. They are a promise. They shape a small trust that the night can hold what the day cannot yet resolve. The story in the cloister also teaches about mercy that arrives slowly. Not every night changes at once. Some nights, the jars remain full in the morning. Some burdens require more than an evening. Yet the act of setting them down changes the path. It keeps the heart from circling the same sharp point. It gives the mind a chance to rest enough to repair. I bring the story back to this lamp and to this room. There is a tiny ceremony that can be repeated anywhere. I will guide it now. In a few small steps, choose something to represent a worry. A pebble, a paper, a quiet sentence. Hold it for one steady breath. Let the weight of the item be noticed. Then place it in a jar or on a small plate. Settle the breath with 2 longer exhalations. Keep the motion simple. End with a short inward phrase that feels true. Do not force words. Let silence be company. If the mind resists, notice that resistance like a small animal at the window. Observe without chasing it away. The response to resistance is the same ritual. Name it. Place it. Breathe. Gentle repetition trains the nervous system far more than fierce effort. This story is not about neat endings. It is about rhythm. The cloister shows that a rhythm of attention can alter the night. The jars do not abolish sorrow. They teach a different stance toward sorrow, one that recognizes limits and invites rest. I watch my listeners in the soft light. The breath in the room changes, even a little. Hands relax. The pace slows. Mercy moves in like ash, settling after a small fire. It leaves a cooler surface to touch. Before I close this part of the night, I fold the story inward like a blanket. Keep the image of the jar and the bench. Keep the motion of placing and releasing. If sleep feels slow to come, do the small ritual again. There is no hurry. The practice is patient. It waits for nights and mornings. Finally, as the lamp keeps its gentle glow, a short promise anchors the close. There is a presence that notices the jars and the folded papers. It keeps watch without needing applause. Mercy sits in the quiet and makes room for the heart to breathe. Rest comes not because everything is solved, but because the heart is not required to hold everything alone. I set the Bible back on the page. My hand rests there a moment. The story folds into the hush. The lamp continues its even guard. When you are ready, place a small thing by the bedside and breathe with intention. Let the night do the slow work. We will meet the next reading, gently, with another small step toward rest. The cloister's bench waits in the imagination. The jar sits open until you close it for tonight. The lamp is steady. I fold the Bible open and rest my hand on the page. The room leans into its quiet. Tonight, I read from Ephesians. I read slowly. The voice keeps a soft pace, so the words can settle. I begin with a simple line from Ephesians that has comforted many. It asks that we put away sharp things in the heart, bitterness, anger, and every kind of harsh word. Then it moves to a gentleness. Be kind to one another. Tender in heart, and forgive one another, just as you were forgiven. I pause after each phrase. The words are small doors. They ask for a breath before entering. There is a person I know who lives inside this teaching, a friend who carried worry like a second coat. The coat was heavy. It kept the body warm in fear and heavy in the shoulders. Sleep came thin and shallow. The mind ran rehearsals for every imagined future loss. The chest held a knot of old hurts and fresh anxieties. Forgiveness felt like a far shore. I watched the pattern quietly. The friend clung to what had been unfair. Memories were replayed in the dark. Each replay tightened the jaw and shortened the breath. Anger made company with worry. The two fed one another. There was little room left for rest. One slow evening, after a small ritual of writing and placing worries into a jar, the friend brought something different. A narrow strip of paper carried a name. The paper was folded like a small offering. No drama, no long speech. The act itself was already prayer. We do not compare pain or tally wrongs in this room. The point is gentleness. So the next step was not a lecture. It was a practice. The friend held the strip in the palm. Fingers traced the fold. A single breath arrived, like a small bell. Then a soft sentence was said inside the mind. I choose to let this go for tonight. The sentence was not a promise to forget or to solve everything. It was a letting down of the hand. Forgiveness began as emotion, not a miracle, The friend placed the strip into the jar used for worries. The slip did not vanish. It sat among other papers like a page in a book. The jar did not erase the past. It held it differently. The name became an object that could be seen. Seeing changes how the heart responds. I guided a breathing pattern. In for 4. Soft and even. Hold a quiet beat. Out for 6. Longer. As if releasing a knot through the mouth. With each out-breath, the shoulders eased, the jaw unclenched, the hands opened a fraction more. The breath made space where the knot had lived. There was a small prayer offered, very short and simple. Not a sermon, not an argument with memory. A single line kept in silence, make my heart soft enough to rest. The prayer sat beside the lamp like a companion on the bench. It did not demand proof. It invited a posture of trust. Over time, the friend practiced this again and again. Each night, a narrow paper or a small pebble represented the hurt. The motion of placing it down became a habit of mercy. The habit taught the nervous system another root notice. Name. Sit down. Breathe. The root did not pretend to fix the world. It taught the body to relax, in spite of what is unresolved. I watched the change. It was slow. It came in small, honest measures. The sleep deepened. Dreams came with less sharp edges. The chest no longer tightened at the memory of the same old sting. The mind stopped running, endless forecasts of worst-case storms. Worry softened around the edges. Forgiveness did not erase boundaries. It loosened the clutch on the heart. Ephesians directs the practice gently. It pairs forgiveness with kindness and tenderness of heart. These words are not commands that shame. They are invitations to ways of being that mend the inside. Forgiveness becomes a kind of domestic work. It is not dramatic. It is washing a plate after supper. It is folding a blanket and placing it on the bed. The small acts add up. There are practical steps that help the friend, and that might help here as well. First, keep the motion simple. A small piece of paper, a pebble, a bead, or a single breath can stand for the thing to be forgiven. Name it briefly. The name can be a single word: hurt, betrayal, anger, grief. Keep the voice inward and calm. Second, use the jar or a simple place to set the thing down. The physical motion is important. The hand learns to move from holding to placing. The body registers that as a change. The mind follows. Third, pair the placing with a measured breath. Make the exhale longer than the inhale. Let the out-breath carry a sense of release. Do this 3 times. Let patience be present. Mercy often needs repetition. Fourth, end with a short sentence in the heart. Say nothing aloud if it feels too heavy. An inner phrase like, I will rest now, or I give this room to grace, can be enough. The sentence becomes a marker for the body to settle into sleep. This practice also asks for a soft look at the self. Forgiveness includes forgiving oneself. The friend had carried guilt alongside anger. The two made a crowded city in the chest. Self-reproach is a conversation that runs at night. To forgive oneself. The same ritual works. Name the harsh thought. Place it down. Breathe. Offer the short inward sentence. I am held even in my mistakes. That sentence is not pride. It is a steadying fact that allows repair. There are nights when forgiving feels impossible. Some wounds are deep. Some wrongs are recent and raw. The practice then is smaller. Still permit one gentle breath toward the notion of letting go. Let the hand loosen by a fraction. Smallness is not weakness. The smallest motion can be the threshold into rest. I read a line from Ephesians again. With the lamp between us. The words move slowly. Be kind to one another. Tänder in hart. And forgive one another. Let the sentence fold between the breaths. Feel how kindness and forgiveness live together like two warm hands cupping a tired face. A helpful image is this. Imagine a garden at dusk. Some plants are wild. Some are orderly. The gardener comes with a soft tool. The work is not to uproot everything at once. The work is to clear paths, so light can reach the tender shoots. Forgiveness is like clearing a narrow path around a healthy sprout. It allows air to move and future growth to breathe. The garden does not change overnight. It changes through patient tending. Trust in God's plan appears quietly in this practice. It is not a belief used to avoid responsibility. It is a steady awareness that life continues under a watchful care. For the friend, trust meant an openness to whatever tomorrow might hold. It did not cancel the need for action or boundary. It invited a different energy into action, one not driven by the sharp heat of old anger. When forgiveness opens, the body notices, the neck loosens, the sternum relaxes just a little. The pulse slows as if someone has taken a hand from the shoulder. Sleep becomes a place where repair happens. Hope does not shout. It hums. Like a small appliance that keeps the house at a comfortable warmth. If you are willing, try the bedtime ritual now. Choose a simple token. Name the hurt. Place it in a jar or on a plate. Breathe out long. Keep the inner sentence short and true. Let the lamp be witness. Stay with the breathing until the body tells you it is ready to rest. There will be nights when the jar is heavy. There will be mornings when the strips are still full. That is all right. Forgiveness is not a task to be finished in a single sitting. It is a habit of mercy practiced in small motions. Each small practice widens the room available for sleep. Each small act teaches the heart another way to live. Before I close the page, I fold a reminder into the hush. Forgiveness gives a gift beyond release. It returns pieces of the heart that worry had claimed. Those pieces are quiet and tender. They rejoin the self like small, familiar instruments tuning back into the orchestra. The music is not loud. It is enough. I place the Bible down softly. The lamp keeps its patient glow. The friend's steps in memory move slower, gentler. The room breathes with that slowed pace. When you are ready, pick up whatever small token you keep by the bedside. Make the gentle motion. Breathe with intention. Let forgiveness be a practice that leads you toward rest. We will continue in the next reading. For now, rest in the small mercy of this night. The lamp watches. The presence keeps its steady guard. The heart can lay down its burdens and sleep under a gentler sky. The lamp is steady. The Bible opens where my thumb rests. I take the page and read slowly. The words settle into the room like a quiet guest. Tonight, I read from 2 Corinthians 1, 2, 9. I let the sentence arrive with space. My grace is sufficient for you. For my power is made perfect in weakness. I pause. I let the phrase sit in the hush between breaths. Grace is a soft thing in practice. It is not a loud proclamation. It is a gentle hand at the shoulder in the dark. When I say the word grace, I think first of small moments. A neighbor who brings bread when the oven is empty. A friend who listens without trying to fix everything. A hand that steadies without words. The verse gives the word a larger shape. But the living of grace begins in these small acts. I remember a night not long ago when forgiveness crept back into my life, the way dawn eases into the valley. A person I had loved had hurt me. The wound lived like a familiar ache under the ribs. I rehearsed the hurt for weeks. Sleep came thin. The jar beside the bed grew heavier. With slips of paper, the name of the hurt became a ritual presence. I carried the story of the wrong like a talisman. One slow evening, after making the motion of placing the small paper into the jar, I did something different. Instead of sealing the jar and turning away, I laid my hand on the glass and breathed. I did not force a resolution. I did not demand that the heart leap from grief into immediate joy. I simply breathed and listened. In that listening, a strange freedom arrived. It felt like a loosening in the throat. The shoulders dropped a fraction. The chest unclenched. Receiving forgiveness is a similar but distinct movement. A different night. A small confession came from a friend. The words were not loud. They were a simple admission and a soft request for pardon. I did not have to rehearse the reply. My first response was a physical one. The muscles around the eyes relaxed. A warmth spread across the face. Saying yes to forgiveness felt like stepping out of a tight coat. I could breathe deeper. The voice in my head that had kept tally fell quiet. Those 2 events, offering and receiving, are not neat opposites. They live on the same seam of life. When I offer forgiveness, I am not pretending harm did not happen. I am making a choice to loosen the hold it has on me. When I accept forgiveness, I am allowing someone else's mercy to change what I thought I must carry alone. Both acts move the heart toward a lighter place. The verse about grace and weakness shapes these moments. Admitting weakness is not shameful. It is honest. When I admit that I am small in a situation, a space opens for grace to meet me. The power that the verse names is not a force that shames or coerces. It is a power that shows up in the small repairs. It shows up as patience when I want to rush. It shows up as steadiness when I am tempted to crumble. I have noticed a pattern in relationships. After moments of forgiveness, walls come down slowly. Conversations that once felt guarded become possible. I remember a season when a sibling and I kept a polite distance. Little offenses collected like dust. One night, I placed a pebble on the bedside table to represent the long list of slights. The pebble felt ridiculous and true. Later, I handed a similar pebble to that sibling with no fanfare. We did not exchange stories of who was right. We exchanged 2 small stones and a shared breath. Over mornings and dinners, The stones lost their symbolic sharpness. They became ordinary objects. The relationship eased. We began to laugh together again. The freedom that arrived was quiet. It felt like walking without dragging a heavy satchel. Grace changes how I relate to myself too. Self-forgiveness is often harder than forgiving others. The inner critic has a long memory and a precise voice. Yet when I bring the practice of naming and placing into the self, something shifts. I name the thought that keeps me awake. I put it into the jar or set it on the small plate. I breathe. I say a short sentence, inwardly get rest. Now, this is not a magic spell. It is a reordering. The relentless inner ledger stops demanding immediate payment. The body registers the permission to rest. There is an honesty needed to receive grace. It asks that I stop pretending I have no need. Pride often masquerades as strength. It keeps the pain hidden and the door shut. To receive grace is to open the door a crack. It is to let another's mercy enter the room. In doing so, a fresh sense of belonging follows. I feel less isolated in the small saga of mistakes and missteps. The night becomes less a place of accusation and more a place of healing. I want to offer a simple practice you can try tonight. It is a small ritual that invites grace into the spaces where forgiveness is slow. Choose a token, a pebble, a paper strip, a small coin, anything that fits easily in the hand. Hold it for a breath. Let the weight of the token stand for a particular hurt or a failing you are ready to address. Name the thing quietly in the mind. Keep the phrase short. No need for explanation. Then place the token into a jar or on a plate beside the lamp. After placing it, breathe in gently for 4 counts. Hold a soft beat. Breathe out for 6. With the out-breath, imagine the token resting in safekeeping. Say an inward sentence. If it helps, grace is enough. Keep the words simple. Do this 3 times. Let the body respond. Notice that the shoulders drop. The jaw loosens. The breath flows more easily. If you are wrestling with forgiving someone tonight, the ritual can be the same. Hold the token and imagine the other person's name on it. You are not erasing the hurt. You are changing its immediate power over the chest. Place the token in the jar. Breathe. Offer a brief inward phrase. I give this to grace. Let the words be small, like a thread pulled through a buttonhole. Owatim. These repeated small acts rearrange the interior room. They do not force reconciliation where it would be unsafe. They do not excuse harm. They simply allow the heart to stop carrying more than it needs to carry for the night. If you are the one who needs to receive forgiveness, a similar practice helps. Hold the token and imagine offering it to the one you have wronged, or to the God who watches over the night. The action of placing it down mirrors a willingness to be changed. Then breathe. Allow the relief that comes with acceptance to make an entrance. Receiving grace is not always immediate. Sometimes it arrives slowly, like rain that begins with a single drop and becomes steady. Be patient with the timing. I have seen relationships mend, not through arguments, but through these tiny rituals. People let down their guard just enough to hear one another. They take short, tangible steps toward mercy. Meals are shared again. Laughter returns in small measure. The power of grace works in that modestness. It does not always produce grand reconciliation. Often it produces a steadier morning and an easier evening. There are nights when the jar is full and the heart feels heavy, despite all rituals. That is all right. Grace does not demand that everything be finished by morning. It asks only that I do the next small thing name. Place. Breathe. Trust that a thread of mercy is being woven. Even if the pattern is slow to show. I read the verse again with the lamp between us. My grace is sufficient for you. For my power is made perfect in weakness. This is not a challenge to hide faults. It is an invitation to bring them into the light. Weakness is the place where help can find purchase. The power that arrives is gentle. It steadies rather than shames. It reminds me that I am not expected to be flawless in order to be loved. In the hush, small gratitude helps the heart. Name one tiny kindness received today. It can be the voice of a child, the flavor of a warm meal, or the calm of a short walk. Let that memory sit beside the jar. Let it be a companion to the tokens of hurt. Goodness and brokenness can be held together in the same hand. As I close this part of the reading, I fold the practice inward like a blanket. If you wish, take the token you used and place it under the pillow, or leave it on the nightstand as a witness to the act you have done. Let it remind you in the morning that a small motion toward mercy was made. Rest now with the thought that grace is active even in the quiet. It works while you sleep. It does not hurry. It is patient and kind. The lamp keeps its steady glow. The breath moves in a calmer rhythm. The presence that the verse names keeps watch without alarm. We carry the small rituals with us into tomorrow. They are quiet aids in the larger work of healing. Take one last long breath with me. In for 4. Hold a soft beat. Out for 6. Let the exhale carry a little less weight. Let the inhale bring a hint of ease. Lay the head back. Let the eyelids be soft. Rest in the sufficiency of grace tonight. We will continue in the next passage, gently moving forward. For now, sleep under a kinder sky. The presence that knows your name keeps vigil. Grace is here. Grace is enough. The lamp is low. The house breathes with us. I open the Bible and let my hand rest on the thin page. The paper feels familiar. The room accepts the small sound of turning leaves. My voice comes soft and steady. I begin with a line that has sheltered me in plain nights. Keep your mind on the steady thing. Trust the presence that watches over steady breath. I let the sentence hang. Space gathers between the words. The pause is long enough to be kind. Peace here is not a sudden fix. It is a careful tending. It arrives when attention settles away from the clamoring lists. It grows where the heart learns to be still around its own restless edges. I describe a habit that helps me return to that place. First, choose one small focus. It can be the hum of the lamp, the weight of the blanket, the rhythm of the breath. Keep the focus quiet. Let it be a pebble you put in your hand. The mind will want to run. It will wander to errands undone and conversations replayed. When that happens, notice. Do not argue. Bring attention back to the pebble. Let patience guide the movement. I tell of a night when inadequacy felt like a cold room. Tasks had piled tall. Words had landed poorly. I stood in the doorway of my own life and did not feel fit to enter. Shame sat heavy. It pressed like a tight glove around the chest. Sleep crept away on thin feet. The jar beside the bed was full of slips. The lamp kept its quiet light, as it always does. In that season I tried the same small practices I now offer. I placed a token in the jar. I laid a hand on the glass. I breathed with a soft count. The motion did not cure everything. It did something tenderer. It loosened the hold that inadequacy had on the ribs. The thought that I must be flawless to be loved began to loosen its grip. I speak of grace now as a practical thing, not a slogan, not a display. Grace comes as a skilled hand that tends a wound with steady pressure. It is the small notice inside that says, "You are allowed to be imperfect tonight." That notice transforms the night. It does not erase the facts. It changes how the facts live inside the chest. When I feel inadequate, I name the feeling in 3 words. That act of naming is quiet and exact. It is not a confession in a large hall. It is a footstep across the room. Name the feeling. Place it in the jar. Breathe. This is a ritual of recognition, not of defeat. Then I turn attention to the promise of steady peace. My voice reads a line again. Slow and plain, the mind that keeps steady on the presence will find a kind of perfect peace. I let the sentence settle. The phrase, perfect peace, is not an achievement. It is a gift offered to attention that refuses to be pulled into every anxious story. It comes when the mind anchors on what is true and trustworthy. Practice helps. I guide a simple exercise now. Close the eyes if that helps. Keep the lamp in the corner of vision if it does not. Place one hand on the chest. Feel the rise and fall. Let the breath be a slow tide. In for 4, hold a gentle beat. Out for 6. Softer. Repeat 3 times. Each out-breath loosens a knot. Each inhale brings a little more room. Add a soft image. Picture a narrow path through a field. The path is worn flat by small footfalls. It does not try to cross the whole meadow at once. It simply follows what is safe. Let the mind walk that path. Keep the attention on one step. The thought of all the fields beyond can be beautiful and frightening. For now, stay on the path. The path leads to a small bench under a tree. Sit there. Rest. I tell of a time when self-reproach was loud. I made a mistake with a friend. The memory looped like a broken record. My chest tightened. The lamp's light felt thin. I tried to fix everything at once. Pride and fear fought in small moments. Then I remembered the steadiness promised in the verse. I practiced asking for help in one short sentence. The sentence was not clever. It did not solve the problem. It moved the heart toward humility and toward receiving help. Receiving help felt strange at first. It required letting down the guard. It meant admitting weakness. That admission, tender as it is, invites grace to enter. It makes space for strength that is not mine alone. The power that watches over the night shows itself in the small repairs that happen after the hand opens. I describe gentleness toward imperfections. Imperfections are not proofs of failure. They are pieces of the human shape. Scar and flaw do not exclude love. They often shape compassion. When I accept an old shortcoming, I stop using it as a shiver of accusation. It becomes simply part of the story. That acceptance does not excuse further harm or remove responsibility. It loosens the nervous system so work can be done from a steadier heart. A short ritual helps to practice this. Choose a small token for a single imperfection you carry. Hold it. Name what the token stands for in one quiet phrase. Place it into the jar, rather than sealing the jar in tight duty. Rest a hand on the lid. Breathe in slow. Let the breath be a gentle promise. I will tend this with patience. Exhale and let the shoulders drop. I also teach a way to reframe the inner critic. When the voice of shame speaks, imagine it as a small child at the window. Greet the child with calm attention. Offer a cup of attention and then move back to the lamp. The child does not leave instantly. It will return again. Each calm movement teaches the nervous system a new response. The habit of gentle return is the work of peace. Trust grows in small repetitions. The verse promises a guarding of hearts and minds when the mind stays fixed on the steady presence. Guarding is not elimination of trouble. It is a rearrangement of priority. It places worry where it belongs and returns the heart to what feeds life. Over time, the guarding becomes felt like a steady warmth at the back of the ribs. I share another memory. I stood in a churchyard at dusk. A storm had passed. The grass was wet and shimmering. He felt small again. A friend's kindness had soothed something raw. The sense that I might be too little for the world felt heavy. Yet the evening brought a soft proof. A robin landed on the fence and tilted its head as if to listen. That small creature showed me that the world holds room for smallness. The breath that followed felt easier. The idea that perfection is required fell like leaves from a branch. The practice of gratitude pairs well with this steadiness. Gratitude is not a demand to be joyful. It is a focusing tool. Name one small thing that was kind in the day. Say it in the mind. Let it sit beside the token in the jar. Keep the gratitude specific and plain. The combination of naming a small mercy and placing a small worry down creates a balance. It helps the mind to tolerate the hard without being swallowed by it. If the mind resists the idea of peace, notice that resistance without anger. Ask a small question inward. What would rest look like tonight? Give the question one breath to answer. The answer may be a single image, a warm cup, a friend's voice, the hush of rain. Hold that image and let it steady the path. I remind that perfection is not required for rest. The breath does not wait on a clean ledger. The world does not demand flawless hearts before offering mercy. The lamp does not choose the person by their record. The night opens for those who practice small arrivals, bringing tokens, breathing slow, naming softly, sitting in the quiet. We will do a breathing practice together now. Place the hand on the chest. Inhale for 4. Hold a soft beat. Exhale for 6. Imagine as the breath flows out that something in the chest can relax. Picture the pressure easing like a strap, unclipping. Repeat 3 times. Let each cycle be gentler than the last. Allow any stray thought to pass like a cloud over the lamp. As I close this part of the reading, I fold a promise into the hush. Peace is a place we practice entering. It is not always immediate. It grows when the mind learns to keep steady on a good companion. That companion is a presence that knows the smallest fears and holds them anyway. The perfect peace promised by the verse is a guarding that rests with steady attention. If rest still feels thin, try one more small thing. Whisper an inward sentence. Keep my mind steady tonight. Say it once. Place a hand over the heart. Breathe slowly for a minute. Then let the eyes soften. Let the body sink into the bed. Do not force sleep. Let the practice keep watch. I set the Bible down softly. The lamp keeps its faithful glow. The jar sits near the bed, if you have one. The token you used can stay for the night. In the morning, notice how the chest feels. The change may be slight. That is enough. Small changes build toward a steadier life. We will move on in the next reading. For now, rest in the quiet that attends steady minds. Mercy keeps its watch. Grace strengthens in weakness. Imperfections are gently accepted. The night opens. Breathe with ease. Sleep when it comes. The lamp remains in its small, patient circle. The presence keeps the watch. I return to the lamp and the page. The room is quiet. My hand rests on the Bible. I breathe in with the soft pace we have kept. Tonight, I bring a simple image, a harbor. I tell a story about a small boat finding a calm place to rest. I begin with the setting. The sea is wide and slow. The air tastes faintly of salt and dusk. The sky bends low and gentle. Far off, a lighthouse keeps its steady eye. The harbor mouth is narrow, made safe by rocks and a long pier. Boats come and go all day. In the evening, they return to the same quiet place. My voice slows as the story comes. I know the life of a small craft. I picture a boat that has worked hard. It carries nets and thoughts and a stubborn list of things to do tomorrow. The hull is tired from the waves. The sails have been furled and refurled. The captain, not grand or famous, looks toward the harbor with relief. The idea of landing feels like the end of a long pull. Faith is like that harbor. It offers boundaries that keep the boat from drifting into open danger. The promises I read about in the Bible become the markers of the pier. They are not an abstract map. They are cleats to which a rope can be tied. They are lighthouses that guide a small craft home. I tell you the small actions that sailors use. First, they ease the sails. Wind can be tiring if it is always caught. Lowering the sail is a means of letting the boat loose of effort. In the same way, the evening calls us to ease our striving. Let the need to hold everything steady go slack. Allow the rigging of worry to rest. Next, the captain drops an anchor. The anchor is not magic. It catches in the seabed and offers purchase. It is a practical bit of weight that keeps a boat from spinning in the current. Imagine lowering an anchor into a dark calm. Feel the gentle thud as it finds the bottom. In the chest, a similar motion can happen when I name the promise that steadies me and let it hold my worry. The anchor is a promise kept. It is a reality to which I can tie my rest. The harbor light matters. A lighthouse does not pull the boat by force. It offers bright certainty in the dark. Its beam cuts through mist and guides hands on deck. The promises I read at night are like that beam. They do not shout. They illumine a safe course. They remind me that someone watches the shore while the boat floats. There is a ritual the captain repeats each night. He throws a line. He feels the rope take taut. He ties a knot that can be relied on. He checks the cleat and the slack. He sits down and listens. The ritual is small and exact. It need not be elaborate. The very motion of tying and checking teaches the hands a kind of ease. The body learns that the work of the day need not be endless. I guide a short practice now that mirrors these motions. Picture yourself as that captain. Imagine a small boat under your care. See the harbor light ahead. Lower one imaginary sail. Take one slow breath in. Hold the breath a soft beat. Release, and imagine the sail settling against the mast. Feel how the shoulders ease a degree. Now imagine dropping an anchor. Let the mind name one promise that holds you. It might be the quiet assurance that you are loved. It might be a sentence from a psalm you carry. Let that promise be the anchor. Drop it into the imagined water. Feel the anchor catch. With a gentle out-breath, imagine the boat settling into steadiness. The motion is small and exact. Tie one line to the cleat of belief. The line does not need to be taut with effort. Tie it with a tender knot. Let the knot be a short inward sentence. I rest here for now. Do not force the sentence. Keep it calm and spare. The knot is not a lock. It is a reminder to return if the mind drifts. Listen to the sound of the harbor. Water laps against wood. A gull cries once and moves on. Wood creaks a little when a rope shifts. The noise is not alarming. It is ordinary and true. Let these small sounds hold the imagination as a lullaby. The sea in the picture does not vanish. It rests. I share the memory of one particular night that stays warm inside. I walked along a pier at dusk. My hands sat in my pockets. The world felt heavy in a private way. I watched a small skiff come in. The actor of the scene, no one remarkable, guided the craft with a quiet skill. The sailor tied the line, checked the anchor, and sat down. His head bowed for a few moments. He did not have to speak. The posture said everything. He trusted the harbor. I watched and felt permission to trust too. The metaphor helps because it describes a simple sequence. Approach. Ease. Anchor. Tie. Sit. The motions are small but complete. They do not require an immediate fix for everything. They only prepare the boat and the body for rest. This is the same mercy I invite you to carry to bed. There is comfort in knowing that harbors are made to hold many kinds of boats. Some vessels are sleek and fast. Some are round and slow. The harbor is wide enough. The promises I read out loud at night are broad enough to catch every kind of need. They do not choose by neatness. They receive all shapes. If any resisting thought rises, picture the pier again. A stray gust of wind might ruffle a flag. The captain checks the lines and keeps the boat from slamming. Do the same inwardly. If a worry comes, notice it and feel the line you have tied. Return attention to the knot and to the anchor. The practice trains the hands and the breath to return to a calmer posture. I invite a breathing pattern that suits the harbor image. Breathe in as the tide lifts the boat gently. Count softly for 4. Hold a small beat as the anchor finds the bottom. Exhale for 6, and imagine the boat settling deeper into rest. Repeat 3 times. Keep the eyes soft. Let the breath be a tide that rocks the boat, not a storm that tosses it. There are nights when the sea feels stranger. Fog can make the light thin. In those hours, trust the lighthouse more than the eyes. Names of promises function like that light. Call one promise to mind. Let it be a beam. Let your breath travel toward that beam. Let the beam steady the hands that tie the knot. I speak now of mercy that arrives quietly. A harbor does not cancel the storms that came earlier in the day. It simply offers a place where wounds can be tended. Into that place come small repairs, sleep, a softer heart in the morning, the gathering of courage for tomorrow. The promises I read before bed are not instant cures. They are moorings that help me keep going. As the one who reads the Bible with you, I name a promise for this moment. I do not make it into a demand. I offer it as a mooring. God keeps watch. He guides small boats home. The assurance that watches the mind tonight is calm. Allow that assurance to be the harbor where your thoughts lie down. If you like, take one last small action before your head settles. Touch the bedside with a finger as if checking a cleat. Feel the texture of the nightstand. Imagine a rope wrapped once around that small point. The motion is slight. It signals an inward readiness to rest. Keep your breath steady as you make that motion in the imagination. I close this image with a short invitation. Let the harbor be more than a picture. Let it be a posture you carry into sleep. Lower the sails of striving. Drop the anchor of a named promise. Tie the line with a single inward sentence. Sit for a moment and listen to the ordinary sounds. Allow the divine peace promised to you to settle like a soft fog around the boat. Do not try to rush the fog away. It is the covering that makes sleep possible. Before I placed the Bible gently down, I read a small blessing over the scene. May this harbor hold you. May the promises that guide your life steady your breath. May the lamp in the harbor steady. Watchful, keep its light for you while you rest. Keep the image close as you lie down. Let it be a guardian for the night. Take one final slow cycle with me. In for 4. Hold the breath a small beat. Out for 6. Feel the boat breathe with the tide. Let the eyes soften. Let the body settle. The lamp beside the bedside keeps its circle of light. The harbor waits to hold the boat. Rest now in the calm harbor of faith. When you are ready, allow silence to gather. I will be here with the next passage shortly. For now, let the divine peace settle in. Let it keep watch until morning. The lamp is low. I set the Bible in my lap. The house breathes with a slow rhythm. I draw my voice close to the hush and begin to read. Tonight I tell a story that walks out from the harbor and into a storm. It is a small tale. It moves slowly. A sailor goes to sea on a night when the horizon looks like a dark fold. The wind is higher than usual. The sky hides the stars. Salt rides the air and finds the skin. The boat is not large. It is steady, familiar. a work of hands and habit. The sailor knows the seams and the ropes. He knows the sound of the hull when the waves speak differently. At first, the wind plays along the rigging like a restless child. Then, it takes on force. A swell grows under the keel. Water lifts and dives. The sails snap and sigh. The mast groans a soft complaint. There is no panic. There is only the honest work of keeping a small vessel safe. I describe the captain. He is not a figure of drama. He is someone who has learned one simple rule: keep turning the face toward the light you trust. He checks the compass with an even hand. He eases the sails where they strain. He listens for the small sounds beneath the roar. He lets his breath follow the rhythm of the sea. When the storm thickens, darkness presses closer. The lighthouse at the coast becomes a faint promise. Foam rides over the bow. The helm is heavy. Waves bruise the sides. Yet in the middle of the noise, a certain steadiness persists. Not the absence of fear, rather, a presence that steadies the hands and quiets the mind. I read a line from the Bible as the wind lifts the page. I say it slowly, and let the words breathe space. For I am convinced that neither death nor life, neither angels nor rulers, neither the present nor the future, nor any powers. I let the sentence sit. Then I continue the soft cadence, nor height nor depth, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God in Christ Jesus our Lord. The words find room in the dark. The sailor holds these words like a compass. He does not clutch at them as a clumsy talisman. He carries them in the small, steady places inside the chest, behind the eyes. In the quiet between breaths, the sentence is not an argument to be proven. It is a presence to be trusted. It feels like a rope thrown to a hand in the dark. The hand can choose to take it. Faith is like that rope. It is practical. It meets the storm by letting the sailor do the next right thing. Tie the line. Drop a bit of sail. Turn the bow to the swell. The motions are simple. They are not heroic. They are the small movements of a person who trusts that help is near. I watch with him as the lighthouse beam is sometimes swallowed by fog. There are moments when no beam is visible. The sailor remembers another light deeper than the one on the shore. It is not always seen. It is felt. He bends his head and breathes a quiet sentence. The breath is slow and deliberate. It steadies the hands. The sea does not stop. The waves keep working, but a different rhythm arrives inside the sailor. The chest loosens. The shoulders drop by degrees. Fear does not disappear, but its voice sits down. Where before the mind rehearsed every disaster, now it keeps to the steady task. This is trust in action, not passive hope, but an active returning to what holds. There is mercy in the motions. Each small task unhooks some part of the tightness. A knot is checked and eased. A sail is trimmed so it does not rip. The boat turns just enough to ride the swell rather than meet it like a wall. The sailor breathes as he moves. The breath and the hands learn the same pace. I tell you this so that the image can be your companion tonight. Imagine yourself as the captain for a moment. You hold the wheel. The storm arrives. You are not alone. Feel the rope of the promise in your palm. Name one small thing to do, turn the bow. Ease a thought. Set an anchor of a remembered truth. Do it slowly. Let each motion be exact and unhurried. Trusting God's guidance works the same way. Guidance is not always a loud command. Most often it is a quiet pull. A direction that makes the next step clearer. The Bible gives small markers along the way. These markers do not remove storms. They help sailors find safe courses. The assurance I read a moment ago affirms that no depth or height can finally separate us from love. That truth becomes an anchor against the tide. An anchor is not immediate calm. It is a steadiness beneath the belly of the boat. It finds the depth and holds perches. Faith anchors the heart. Trust ties the line to the cleat. The mind can return to tasks and to sleep, knowing that the tether is strong. You do what you can. God holds what you cannot. There is a night when the sailor feels the sea take more than it gives. A swell knocks at the stern and the boat yawns. The sail rips a little. The ropes refuse at first. Hands that are used to being sure find tremor. Tears come like rain. Unannounced. Not a voice of courage. Just a small sound like a stone dropped into a lake. I speak kindly about such nights. Tears are not failure. They are honest measures of hurt. The tide of the heart works itself out as weather works. The sailor whispers a short prayer. It is not a long speech. It is a breath and a name. The prayer takes the shape of returning to the rope, tightening the knot, and tying it firm. These are the small, faithful acts that weather brings. Remember that the Bible's promises do not ask you to be perfect. They invite you to be present. They invite you to let a dependable love steady your hand. When I read Romans in the hush, I bring that steadying love to the bedside. I fold the words into the room like a quilt. You may lay your own head on that quilt. If it helps, practice a simple mooring before sleep. Hold your hands together as if on a wheel. Take a slow breath in for 4 counts. Hold a small beat. Exhale for 6. And imagine a line unspooling from your heart to the shore. The line is not a tether that binds. It is a lifeline that holds. Picture the anchor settling into a safe bottom. The motion loosens the body. Say a short sentence to yourself. Keep it inside. It might be, you are held, or love will not let go. Do not force the words into being. Let them arrive like a simple nod. Repeat the breath. Let the body answer. There are practical things the sailor does in the morning, and you might do the same when the day begins. Check the ropes. Mend the torn sail. Make a small plan. Do not try to accomplish everything at once. The sea that tests will still be there tomorrow. For tonight, the small repairs of sleep and steady breath are enough. I also remind you that God's love is not a reward for greatness. It is a constant. The verses I read promise that nothing in all creation can sever that love from those it holds. That includes all the small storms and the long, rough seasons. It is a promise that reaches under the keel and around the ribs. The love does not waver when the hands tremble, as the storm continues in the story. The sailor keeps steady. He remembers faces at home. He thinks of small kindnesses given and received. He thinks of the light that does not go out He ties knots that hold. He rests when the boat is tied. He sleeps with one eye clear and the other adrift. The sea keeps working. He keeps trusting. I fold the image into the room. The lamp at your bedside is a small lighthouse in its own right. It does not chase away all darkness. It makes a circle of safety. Rest within that circle for tonight. Let the text you heard be a rope you can take in your hand. Let the memory of the sailor be a guide for how to move through the dark. Before I close this part, I read the verse once more. Slowly and softly, I let each phrase have its space, for I am convinced that neither death nor life, nothing now or in the future, will be able to separate us from the love of God that is in Christ Jesus. I let that finish fall like a stone into still water. If a worry wakes you later, return to the image. Bring the rope back to hand. Tie the same small knot. Breathe. Do the next faithful thing. In the morning, when the sea is calm enough, you can look again at what needs mending. Tonight, rest in the safe harbor of that love. I set the Bible down gently. The room takes another slow breath. The lamp keeps its circle of light. The presence that watches over the night stays steady. The sailor in the story finds a harbor at last. He sleeps with the line secure and the anchor set. He does not wake to a perfect world. He wakes to a world where love holds firm. When you are ready, let your eyes soften. Lay your hands as you wish. Breathe in for 4. Hold. Exhale for 6. Let the boat of your body settle into the tide of sleep. I will be here when you wake, with another small story and another steady word. For now, rest in the sure love that will not let go. The lamp glows the same soft circle. The room holds its hush. I set the Bible across my knees and smooth the page with a careful hand. A small breath steadies the voice. Tonight I read slowly from Proverbs. The words like a gentle map. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight. I let each line rest. The pause between phrases is long enough to be kind. The verse sits in the quiet. It does not demand instant certainty. It invites a posture of slow attention. Trust in a plan often looks nothing like certainty. Most of my days are more like a fogged lane than a clear street. Choices stand at small forks. The mind wants a bright sign. Life gives a dim lantern and a handful of soft nudges. Learning to trust is learning to walk by that lantern and to notice the nudges without needing a map that covers every mile. There is a night that returns when I think of this. I am younger then, and a crossroad sits before me. One road promises steady pay and a tidy life. The other is quieter and less certain. It calls with a name like calling a quiet craft, a work that matters, but does not promise firmness of purse. Sleep becomes a negotiator. The mind draws lists in the dark. The chest holds tight. A practice grows out of that hesitation. I go outside at dawn and stand with a cup of tea until the sky brightens. The air is cool and clear. I place a single pebble on the porch step. The pebble is a marker of the choice. I refuse to force on that morning. I do not toss the worry aside. I set one small sign that says, I will choose tomorrow with care. Over days, the pebble is moved to another step. The motion is plain and patient. It trains the hands to let time thin the loudness of indecision. Clarity often arrives not as an answer to a long argument, but as a single calm day that makes one option feel easier. One morning, the less certain road looks less like risk and more like a garden I want to tend. The heart leans. The feet begin to move. Trust in a plan proves itself, not by revealing everything, but by making a next step feel right. The verse proves true in that quiet way. A straight path does not always mean a wide road. It often means a step taken with a calm heart. Another time, worry sits at the table like an unwanted guest. A loved one grows older. Small questions about care and time collect. Like dishes, plans that once felt clear begin to fray. The mind calculates possibilities as if a ledger could hold everything. Clarity does not come from solving the whole ledger. It comes from a morning of slow conversation over plain bread. A hand reaches across the table. Laughter slips in like light through a curtain. We agree on one small thing to do tomorrow. The agreement is not final. It is enough to move the day forward. Trust in that season is not trust in a plan that removes all worry. It is a willingness to choose one small goodness and to walk with it. I test a simple habit every night. I name one small step for the morning. The step can be a phone call, a visit, or arranging a small help. Writing it down makes it less like a tremor in the mind and more like a tool. In the morning, the page is there. The step shines back like a plain stone. The path straightens. Not because every question is answered, but because one useful action is chosen. There is also a time when health feels uncertain. A diagnosis rolls through the house like a low wind. Plans change shape. The future looks like a puzzle with missing pieces. I remember nights of restless thinking. The mind races through every possible version of tomorrow. The body tenses, as if to hold all those tomorrows in one tight fist. Clarity in that season comes in small acts of surrender. Instead of trying to foresee every medical turn, a different ritual takes over. I place a soft cloth over my hands and hold them there. The cloth is simple and warm. It is not magic. It is an invitation to let the palms relax. With each breath, the fingers loosen. The sentence is kept inward and short. Not my mind, but yours. The phrase is not a command to stop caring. It is a permission to stop carrying alone. The next morning, the list of plans is shorter. Only immediate things remain. Appointments are set. A question is put to a doctor. An honest conversation happens with a family member. These actions are small and exact. The plan begins to look less like a sweeping design and more like a collection of manageable steps. Each step is attended to with care. This is trust lived practically. It is choosing the next useful thing and leaving the rest in a hand steady enough to hold it. I remember a season when a dream I kept for years closes like a softly folding page. Loss arrives gentle and final. Grief is a quiet house guest for months. The future seems to have been rerouted. Trust in that hour looks different. It is a long, weary walking. Clarity does not return in a flash. It arrives as a new door, small and plain. that opens one morning. The door leads to a modest work that asks for patience. It is not my dream. It is another good thing. Choosing it is not a betrayal. It is accepting that a plan has changed its shape. The verse, "Do not rely only on your understanding," feels like a hand guiding me out of a narrow room. Trust often means choosing again. Not once, but many small times. It is a repetition of the same tiny motion. Look, breathe, choose. A practice helps. Before sleep, I take 3 calm breaths and name the one choice I can make tomorrow. The choice can be as small as writing an email or as tender as sitting with someone for a half hour. A hand rests on the page of the Bible. The heart feels lighter by degrees. Sometimes clarity comes from a quiet voice close at hand. Not a loud epiphany. A neighbor, a friend, or an unexpected note. The heart softens because someone else's presence keeps watch with a steadier eye. In those nights, I learn that I do not have to be the only one peering at the map. Shared wisdom is a means by which paths become straighter. Asking for counsel is not a weakness. It is a simple way to let a wider view enter a small, anxious mind. I also teach a small practice you may like to try. When a choice wakes you in the night, keep a small card by the lamp. On it, write 3 words that steady you, words that name a trustworthy truth. They can be simple mercy. Enough. Guide. When a worry lifts you out of sleep, reach for the card. Read it slowly. Let the words sink into the breath. Make one tiny plan for the morning. Place that plan where you will see it at dawn. Return to bed. Let the card be a small witness to the trust you choose. Trust in God's plan is not an instruction to stop thinking. It is an invitation to reframe thinking. Instead of demanding a full map, allow the mind to embrace a trusted guide. Imagine a hand on the shoulder that says, "I will go with you." The guide may not point to every stone. The guide points to the next safe footing. Step by step, a path straightens. I have found that even simple acts change how a path appears. A single letter sent, a short visit, a call to a nurse, a soft acceptance of a closed door. Each one reorders the map. Not every outcome is clear. Not every day brightens instantly. But the posture shifts. Worry no longer dictates the route. A calm attentiveness does. I read the verse again in a slow voice. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He will make your paths straight. The words fall into the hush like gentle rain. They do not force a direction. They steady a heart that needs to move. Before I close this part of the night, I offer a quiet blessing. If you wake to a question about tomorrow, let this small routine be your companion. Breathe in 4 counts. Rest for 1. Breathe out 6. Name one small next step. Place a hand on the chest. Speak a short inward sentence of trust. Then let the body follow the breath towards sleep. The room holds the lamp. The Bible rests warm beneath my hand. The heart does not need to solve everything tonight. A single right step will do. Trust does not remove fog. It teaches how to walk in it. The promise of guidance is steady, even when sight is thin. When you are ready, Allow the breath to slow. Let the lamp's circle be the small world for now. Keep the card if you used one. Carry the practice into the morning. We will continue in the next reading with another soft passage to rest upon. For now, let the verse be a quiet companion trust. Acknowledge. Walk. The path will show itself in time. Rest in that promise. The lamp is a steady circle. I lay the Bible open on my lap. My fingers find the page and rest there. I breathe in the hush of the room. My voice moves slow and calm. Tonight I read a short passage from Matthew. I speak each line with space. Come to me, all who are weary and burdened. I say, I pause. I let the sentence sink into the quiet. I continue, and I will give you rest. I hold that promise for a moment. Then I read, Take my yoke upon you and learn from me. For I am gentle and humble in heart. I slow the words further. My pace is like the lowering of a lamp. I finish with the soft cadence, for my yoke is easy, and my burden is light. Those sentences are an invitation. They are an offer, not a requirement. They do not demand strength. They ask for attention. They ask only that one come as one is. The invitation is simple. Come. Bring what you carry. Rest is promised before any fixing can begin. I describe a simple image now. Imagine arriving at a quiet room. The door is unlabeled. Inside sits a chair with a soft cushion. Beside it rests a wide shawl and a shallow basket. The shawl is warm. The basket is empty. But not empty in an anxious way. It is empty, like a place ready to receive. Picture yourself untying a knot in the coat you wear. You loosen the clasp at the neck. You set the coat over the back of the chair. The motion is small. It is a real letting go, not a mere thought. Bring one specific burden to that chair. Make it small enough to hold in one hand. It might be a single worry from today. A decision you dread, or a tiredness that keeps repeating. Name it in one quiet phrase, inside the mind. There is no need to explain or to defend. The act of naming simply gives the burden a form. When a thing has a shape, it can be set down. Now imagine the shawl. It is not heavy. It is a cloth that can carry weight by holding it tenderly. You put the burden into the shawl. Fold the fabric around it with gentle care. You do not toss the thing away. You place it in a new posture. The motion is deliberate. It is an offering. The teaching about the yoke becomes a living picture here. A yoke in the ancient world joined two animals so they could work together. The yoke I imagine now is not wood that squeezes. It is a soft band that fits easily. When you take it, you do not take it alone. You are yoked to a companion who knows the way. The companion carries alongside you. The load does not vanish, but it changes its weight because it is shared. I lead a short practice to make this concrete. Place a hand on the chest if that helps. Feel the rise of the breath. Name one burden in a short phrase. Hold the phrase for one soft inhalation. As you exhale, imagine placing the phrase into someone's hands who waits beside the chair. You do not need to see a face. You only need to feel the readiness to receive. Let the shoulders drop a little on that out-breath. Repeat once more. The motion is small, but it alters the body's register. Rest, as this passage shows, is a gift to be received. Receiving does not mean doing nothing. It means shifting from carrying alone to walking with another. It means learning from a calm teacher. To learn from gentleness is to let the body trust slowly. The teacher's posture is not forceful. It models humility and steady calm. Watch how the breath follows a gentle example. If sleep is thin, try this practice in the dark of the bed. Keep the lamp dim. Choose one small worry to hand over. Say its name inside. Place it in the shawl on the chair in your mind. Lay a palm on the shawl in your imagination and feel its texture. Breathe in for a slow count. Breathe out and set the burden there. Stay with the image for a few breaths. Let the chest ease. There is also a practical ritual to accompany this inner movement. On a piece of paper, write the single worry you named. Fold it once and place it under your pillow or on the bedside table. The paper is a token, not a magic fix. It is a small witness that you have taken one action to stop the loop of worry. You are telling your mind that this matter will have a place apart from the night. The body notices that boundary. It can relax. The yoke image invites a posture of learning. Learning is gentle. It takes time. Do not demand immediate change. Instead, practice small acts of surrender. When a thought reappears, greet it with the same motion name. Place. Breathe. The repetition trains the hands and the heart. Or a team. The loop weakens, and rest arrives more easily. I offer a breathing pattern to support this letting. Breathe in slowly for 4 counts. Pause a soft beat. Breathe out longer, perhaps for 6 counts, imagining the shawl on the chair. Let the exhale carry a little of the tightness. Repeat 3 or 4 times. Keep the mouth closed. Let the rhythm be a wave that loosens the shoulders. There are gentle words you can hold quietly. They need not be elaborate. A short sentence like, "I place this here," is enough. Or, "I will rest now." Keep the phrase inside, not spoken aloud, unless that helps. The brevity matters. It keeps the mind from arguing. It simply names a choice. I want to speak kindly about stubborn burdens that return despite all these small actions. They can be persistent. Persistence is not failure. It is a sign that some things need tending over time. When a burden persists, use the same tender practice again. Do not escalate into self-reproach. Instead, treat the return as an invitation to repeat an old kindness. Each repetition is a quiet work of mercy. Mercy, in this bedtime frame, looks like patience. It looks like returning the shawl to the chair and placing another small folded paper there. It looks like making a little allowance for the heart's slow pace. The bedtime hour is not a courtroom. It is a shelter. You are safe enough here to set down what you carry. Even if only for the night, there is freedom in smallness. The passages promise rest given to the weary does not mean grand changes overnight. It means permission to lay down what you have been hauling. It means a hand offered and a yoke shared. The relief can begin as simply as a softer jaw or a steadier breath. Notice those small signs. They are real. If it helps you to feel something physical, place one hand over the heart and the other over the belly. Breathe slowly. With each out-breath, imagine a thread loosening inside where tension has knotted. Do not rush the motion. Let it move at the pace it needs. Be kind about how long it takes. I also encourage a short practice of gratitude, paired with rest. Name one small thing from the day that felt like a gift. It can be the warmth of a cup, a brief smile, or the steady light of a lamp. Hold that good thing for one soft breath. Let it sit beside the folded paper on the bedside. Gratitude and surrender together create a balanced posture for sleep. They do not erase trouble. They give the mind two hands to hold the night. This teaching about an easy yoke invites trust as well. Trust is not a demand to stop thinking carefully. It is permission to stop carrying alone. You still make plans. You still act with care, but you do so from a place that admits limits. Admit them without shame. Lay down what you cannot carry tonight. As the one who reads the Bible with you, I place a small blessing on these words. Receive the invitation as you are. Let the shawl hold the burden. Let the yoke be shared. If a name must be called silently tonight, name it. If a token sits on the table, let it be a witness to your choice to rest. We will pause here for a moment of quiet. In that pause, practice the motion. Once more, choose a single burden. Fold it into the shawl in the imagination. Breathe in slowly, and breathe out as you set it down. Feel the shoulders ease. Notice a small change in the jaw. Let the breath lengthen. When you are ready, keep the lamp low. Keep the folded paper within reach, if that comforts. The next reading will come with another gentle image and a few small practices to help this rest deepen. For now, lie down and let the promise hold come with weariness, and find rest. The night keeps watch. The yoke is easy. The burden becomes lighter when it is shared. Rest in that truth for tonight. The lamp is low. The page of the Bible is warm under my palm. I speak slowly, so the room can follow. Tonight, I want to name what sleep can do when it is surrendered. I will tell a small story afterward. Both are gentle. Both are meant to make room. Sleep is not just rest for the body. It is a quiet workshop. Small repairs happen there. Memory files itself. Tension enclenche. The rush of a day eases its hold. When I hand my worries to God before I sleep, that workshop works with hands I cannot see. I read a short line from Psalm 4:8. I let the words fall like a soft hand. In peace, I will lie down and sleep. I say, for you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. I pause long enough for the phrase to settle. The sentence is simple. It is an invitation to a trust that can be practiced. There is a difference between trying to forget and handing over. Forgetting fights the thought. It tucks worry under a lid and hopes it stays. Handing over is a motion. It is clear and offered. I put a name to the worry. I say it once in the mind. I imagine offering it to someone who will hold it through the night. The act changes the weight. I describe what it feels like in the body. The shoulders soften a small degree. The throat loosens. The jaw relaxes. The breath lengthens without effort. These are small signs. They mean the nervous system is listening. Sleep can become peace, not just a slip into sleepiness. That peace reaches into the bones. There is an inner rearrangement that often surprises me. A fixed problem that seemed heavy at bedtime loosens by morning. Not always solved, not always gone, but the urgency has softened. Some questions return with new angles. A solution may appear in a quiet hour, or a better question comes. Sleep moves things. It is part of the way mercy works. I ask the listener to try a short practice with me. Keep it very small. Choose one worry. Name it in one quiet phrase. Hold it for one soft breath. Picture that thing as a small coin or leaf. Place it in an imagined palm beside you. Then say, simply, I place this here. Breathe out. Let the shoulders drop. Let the eyes soften. This practice is not a promise of instant healing. It is a small act that lets the night do its work. It tells your mind that the problem will have a time and place. The night is a caretaker. It does not insist on immediate answers. It asks only for trust enough to rest. Now I tell a story of a night I carry with me. It is not dramatic. It is quiet. It changed the way I listen to sleep. I am younger in the story, restless in a city that will not stop. A decision waits that feels like a hinge. The mind runs lists backward and forward. The lamp is the only steady thing in the room. I hold the Bible, but do not read for a while. My hands know the pages by touch. The city hums beyond the window. I walk a small ritual. I take a plain sheet of paper and write 3 words that name what I fear most about the decision. The hand hesitates. I keep the letters simple. I fold the paper and place it beneath my pillow. It is a small, physical act. Little else fills the night. I read Psalm 1:2-7:2 aloud, almost as a murmur. In vain, you rise early and stay up late, toiling for food to eat, for he grants sleep to his beloved. The verse rests between the hum of traffic and the lamp's light. I let it sit. My breathing finds a softer rhythm. Sleep comes in slow stages that night. Not sudden, not perfect, but in the middle of a long, thin dream. A chain forms. I am not the hero. I am a small person, standing at a window that looks out across a plain. The plain is not frenetic. It is a place where things grow. A neighbor I do not know appears, carrying a small basket. The neighbor does not speak. They set the basket down by my feet. When I look inside, there is a single sprouting seed. I wake with a feeling in the chest, like a hand taken off a tight knot. The dream does not dictate a plan. It only gives an image, a seed, and the meaning that a small good thing can be tended. I do not interpret the dream like a prophecy. I take it as a gentle correction to my panic. The dream says, choose the small thing you can tend. Begin there. In the morning, the world is not fixed. The decision remains, but I find myself able to make one modest step toward the work. I call one person. I send one brief note. I do one simple action that does not solve everything, but moves the day forward. The seed image kept me from trying to hold all roads at once. Sleep had reordered my attention. That night taught me that revelations in sleep are rarely grand epiphanies. They are small lights. They shift the heart's angle. They clear a place on the table for a single useful tool. If you receive such a night, treat it like the seed in the dream. Plant it with patience. I have seen similar small movements in others. A parent who cannot see a way forward surrenders a list to the night. They wake with a plan to do one helpful errand. A friend who fears a loss hears a memory in a dream that turns the shape of grief into gratitude for what was given. These night shifts do not remove pain. They make space around it. There is another kind of sleep revelation. It comes not as an image but as a softened heart. You wake with a gentleness toward someone who harmed you. The thought is not a forced forgiveness. It is a tenderness that finds a place to breathe. This tenderness often begins in a night surrendered to mercy. I caution against expecting nights to fix everything. Sleep is not a magic tool to skip work. It is a partner. The partner helps you rise again with clearer hands. Some situations need time and conversation. Sleep can only rearrange the inside so that the work of the day is more possible. Let me give a small listening practice to use when the night brings a soft insight. Keep a pen by the bed. If a helpful image or sentence arrives before you fully wake, write it down in a single line. Do not build a case from the thought. Keep it like a seed note. Morning can reveal whether it is a helpful beginning or simply a passing cloud. Either way, the act of recording honors the night's small wisdom. I return to the Bible now and read a phrase from Isaiah 2:6-3. I let the syllables fall slow. You keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you. The voice is low. The sentence is not a demand for perfection. It names a steadiness that comes from attention turned toward a trusted presence. That steadiness is not an instant trait. It is built by small acts of trust at evenings and mornings. The person who lays down the day's worry again and again trains the heart to trust that someone keeps watch. The result is not an absence of trouble. It is a calmer handling of trouble. I speak a short instruction now. If you wake with a helpful image, do not treat it like a verdict. Treat it like a seed. Plant it with a small step tomorrow. If sleep brings a softened heart toward a person, write a short, kind thought and let it rest in the margin of your day. If no night brings insight, that is all right. The practice remains the same name, a worry. Hand it over. Let the night work. There are nights that resist this practice. Anxiety can be persistent. On such nights, keep the motions smaller still. Place a small token on the bedside. Lay a hand over it. Breathe for 3 slow cycles. Do not force sleep. The motion is a witness that you have done what you can. The night will do the rest. I close this part of the reading with a soft invitation. Before you rest tonight, take one small action. It can be writing a single word on a scrap of paper. It can be placing a token by the lamp. It can be speaking 2 words inside. I trust you. Keep it simple. Keep it honest. Then lie down and let the night's gentle work begin. I lay the Bible on my lap for a moment. The lamp keeps its steady glow. The story and the practice fold into the hush like a quiet hand. Sleep is a small sacrament when it follows a surrender. It carries mercy through the dark and brings a clearer morning. When you wake, notice what is different. A small thing may be easier. A step may feel lighter. If the change is tiny, that is enough. Small rearrangements gather over time into a new pattern. We will read again in the next part. For now, breathe with me once. In for 4. Hold. Out for 6. Let the exhale carry a little less weight. Let the inhale bring a simple hope. Rest in that hope tonight. The presence that keeps watch is near, and sleep will do its kindly work. The lamp keeps its small circle. The Bible rests open and warm. My voice slides down to the hush. Tonight I tell a family story. It comes slow and gentle. It is a simple night that taught me how God often speaks in low light. My mother keeps a habit of walking the house when sleep will not come. She moves in bare feet. A soft step on the old floorboards. The kitchen light is left low. The kettle is sometimes half-boiled and forgotten. Her hand finds the same mug every night. The mug has a hairline crack that glows when the tea is poured. The crack has its own familiar sound. Like a small river, one particular night sits in my memory. The city outside presses with rain. Sounds are thin and distant. The jar at bedside is full of slips. Her breath is not steady. Rest does not come. Books line the table, open as if paused mid-thought. The mind rehearses 1,000 small cares. The chest tightens with familiar scenes. She rises and moves to the window. Hands rest on the sill. The glass is cool. For a long time she simply watches the rain, instead of fighting the wakefulness. She makes tea. The motion is quiet and exact. Water moves. Steam brises. The small rituals are not grand. They are exact in the gentle way that a hand knows a path in the dark. She carries the mug back to the chair where the lamp throws a pool of light. The Bible lies nearby. Her thumb traces the edge of the pages. She reads a line slowly. The words are not new to her. They are old friends that do not demand anything other than attention. Sleep still will not come. So she chooses a paper and a pen. On the paper, she writes one small phrase, not a long list. Not all the worries rolled into one. One phrase. It might be the name of a relationship, a task that feels impossible, a fear lodged beneath the ribs. The phrase is not judged. It is simply given shape. The hand folds the paper and places it into the jar. The motion is deliberate. It is an offering that looks like a small gesture. She has long kept the habit of holding an image in the palm of the mind when the night grows loud. On that night, the image comes without effort. It is of a narrow lane in the town where she grew up. Lanterns hang low over the cobbles. A child walks ahead with a lantern that does not shine bright. The child moves slowly, attentive to every step. My mother notices that the child is not lost. The child is guided by the lamp and by a path that is known to the feet. The image is not dramatic. It is a simple scene of a child and a lantern. It is enough. It is enough because it brings with it a calm that is not flashy. The lantern is small but steady. The child is cautious, but not fearful. My mother feels a shift that is soft and real. It is a comfort, as quiet as a blanket. She leans back in the chair and lets the memory of that lane rest in her body. The chest loosens a degree. The shoulders drop. The jaw unclenches. Nothing miraculous happens in an instant. No vision fills the room. Instead, a quiet rearrangement takes place. A line of trust loosens the hold of worry for now. The night becomes kinder by a small measure. In the morning, she does a practical thing. She writes one short note to a friend she has worried about. The note is not long. It says a small, true thing, thinking of you. The note is not a full reconciliation or a solution. It is a gentle repair. Later that day, a returned message arrives. It is small and human. Mercy begins in low places. What matters in this story is not the child in the lane or the lantern itself. The matter is how the mind receives a small image and allows it to change the body. God's guidance often works this way. It does not always arrive as a bolt of clarity. It comes as a soft nudge in a dream, as a single image that opens a new angle, or as a reflection that raises the shoulders a hair. The work is not sensational. It is practical. It is tender. I keep this story near when nights grow long for me. The habit of reading a verse, of making a small token, of receiving quiet images, comes from watching the way a family member uses small things to steady the heart. The ritual is practical and accessible. Anyone can hold a tiny image in the mind. Anyone can make a short list, fold it, and place it in a jar. The faithful motions teach the nervous system different work. They teach it to let go a little. A few careful practices follow from that night. They are small and repeatable. They fit easily into the dark before sleep. First, choose one small image that feels comforting. It does not need to be profound. A lamp by a window, a garden path, a friendly bench beneath a tree. Any image that invites the body to relax will do. Keep the image short and simple. Hold it for one slow breath. Second, make one small outward motion to mark the handing over. Write a single word. Fold it once, and place it in a jar or a dish, or pick up a pebble and hold it for a breath. Then lait oside. The motion is not magic. It is a bridge from thought to body. It tells the hands they do not have to keep carrying the whole weight tonight. Third, allow silence to follow. After the small motion, stay with the breath for 3 cycles. In for 4, out for 6. Let the exhale feel longer than the inhale. This breathing is not a technique to force sleep. It is an invitation for the body to register a different rhythm. Fourth, if a dream or a soft insight arrives, treat it like a seed. Do not insist on interpreting it fully. Note it lightly. Keep a pen by the bed. If wakefulness comes with a helpful image, capture one sentence before the room tightens again. In the morning, review the note with patience. Sometimes the seed will grow into a practical step. Sometimes it will only be a small easing. My mother's story also teaches me about the gentleness of God's guidance. It is not a sign that nights will never be hard. It is not a promise that every worry vanishes by morning. It is a steady assurance that attention turned toward the light will find a place to rest. The care comes in small, human ways. A neighbor's voice, a warmth up, a line from Scripture, read in the hush. These are the tools by which mercy comes. As the one who reads the Bible to you each night, I hold that truth with tenderness. The pages we touch together are companions. They do not make loud demands. They offer phrases to hold. They show small paths back to rest. When a family member finds a quiet image in the dark and wakes with a small, practical insight, that insight becomes a manual for how we might all move through restless hours. So tonight, if wakefulness visits, begin with one tiny practice. Choose an image that soothes. Make a small token and set it down. Breathe slowly 3 times. If a dream or a quiet thought comes, note it lightly. Do not push for meaning. Let the insight be a soft tool, not a verdict. In the morning, look again with gentleness. See if the insight suggests one modest action. Act on that one thing. Let the rest remain gentle work for another day. I end this part with a small promise. The lamp will stay lit for a while. The Bible pages will remain warm where my thumb rests. The habit of small motions will keep company with the heart. Dream images and simple reflections are not trivial. They are ways God often speaks. They give a hand to the tired and an angle to the worried. They are the quiet guidance of mercy. Take one last slow breath with me now. In for 4. Hold a soft beat. Out for 6. Let the exhale carry a small lightness. Lay your token near the bed. Fold the page of the day. Rest with permission. I will read again in the next part. For now, sleep under the gentle lamp of quiet guidance. The lamp keeps its small circle. My hand rests on the Bible. I breathe slow and let the room find the same pace. Tonight, I read a short verse that has long guided the small ritual of my evenings. I speak each word gently, letting space gather between them. In peace, I will lie down and sleep. For you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. I let the lines settle. The words are a soft invitation to a practice, rather than an instruction that weighs the chest. They ask for a little motion of trust. The motion is tiny. It can happen in the dark. With eyes closed. With a single finger on the nightstand. It can begin right now. I encourage releasing anxieties before sleep, not as a duty, but as a tenderness. Worry is a real thing that comes at night. It coils in the ribs and talks in the head. It makes the jaw tight. The verse gives a place to lay that coil down for a while. The step is simple notice. Name. Hand over. Breathe. Begin by noticing. Notice the first thought that returns tonight. Do not chase it. Do not argue. Name it with one soft phrase. Keep the phrase short, 1 or 2 words. A bill, a phone call, a memory that repeats. The naming is a small act of honesty. It makes the worry an object, not a rumor. Next, give it a place. I use a simple container by the bed. It might be a jar, a small dish, or even a folded corner of the nightstand. Take a scrap of paper if the thought has a story. Write one line. Fold it once and set it in the container. If writing feels like too much, imagine holding the worry as a pebble. Place the pebble in the imagined palm of the lamp's light. The physical motion helps the nervous system accept a boundary. This will be tended at another time. After the placing, say the verse again. Quietly in the mind, let the words be a hinge. In peace, I will lie down and sleep. For you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. The sentence is not a magic lock, but a steadying hand. It changes the posture of the body even before the mind accepts it. The shoulders drop a fraction. The jaw unclenches. The breath lengthens. I practice a short breathing pattern at this point. In for 4, hold a soft beat. Out for 6, repeat 3 times. With the out breath, imagine the worry sliding into the container. Feel the relief of hands that can let go. This breathing does not rush sleep. It opens a small corridor for it. I also use a brief ritual to keep tomorrow small. On the nightstand sits a tiny notepad. If a problem truly needs attention in the morning, I make one line call. Ask. Fix. One action. I write it down and close the page. That small slip tells the mind the work has a time and place. The body recognizes the boundary. It is easier to rest when the list is no longer juggling in the head. Light matters. I have learned to dim the lamps in the hour before sleep. Brightness sharpens the edges of anxious thought. A warm glow softens the mind. I turn off the main lights and keep the lamps circle. The room contracts kindly. The eye relaxes. The world feels less like a stage demanding solutions, and more like a room offering shelter. A simple washing of the hands helps too. The motion of water calms the muscles. Warm water. Slow movement. Careful drying. These are actions that speak to the body's need for closure. They are not ritual for ritual's sake. They are practical signs the day's tasks are done. The hands will not be needed for them again tonight. I place a hand on the chest before I lie down. The pulse is a steady metronome. The contact is small and safe. It reminds the nervous system that the body is whole and breathing. Say a short phrase inward. I place this here. I rest now. Keep it quiet. The phrase is not a speech to be judged. It is a marker for the heart. If the mind resists and anxiety returns, I do a second motion. Imagine the lamp's base as a small harbor. Take the thought and lay it beside the lamp. Picture the light wrapping it softly. See a hand, gentle and steady, taking the worry into that light and keeping watch. The image is not about fixing everything. It is about not carrying the whole weight alone. For nights when fear presses deeper, I turn to gratitude as a small counterweight. Name 3 tiny mercies from the day. They do not have to be grand. A warm cup, a brief laugh, a sunlit corner. Say them slowly. Let each one rest in the body for a breath. Gratitude does not deny pain. It widens the field, so pain is not the only thing felt. There are evenings when rituals need something tangible. I keep a soft shawl folded on the chair. If emotions feel heavy, I wrap it once around the shoulders, not to hide, but to feel held. The weight is modest. It is a reminder of steadiness. The shawl is a small, physical analogue to the promise I read. Safety is given, not earned. I use a short hymn or a single psalm line as the final spoken thing, a phrase that shapes the night. It may be the verse I read tonight. Sometimes it is another line that sits light in the throat. I do not try to argue with trouble using theology. I only let a few honest, comforting words fill the room. The voice is low. Space follows. A hot drink can help. Not too much. Not too late. A small cup of chamomile or plain warm milk calms the gut and the mind. Drink slowly. Pay attention to the heat on the lips and the rhythm of swallowing. The body registers the action as care, and care lowers the volume of anxious thought. I keep hands busy in small ways that are not distracting, folding a small cloth, arranging a pillow, smoothing the lamp shade. These motions are not avoidance. They are a simple tending. They let the hands do a little work that is finite and calming, a way to move the restlessness into a loop that ends. If sleep will not come despite the rituals, I practice receiving the night rather than fighting it. I lay down and return to the breath. Notice any sensations without trying to change them. Name a single steady thought: this breath, this warmth, this presence, and return to it. The repetition trains patience. It is not a trick to force sleep, but a practice of endurance that invites it. Sometimes the evening brings sharp emotions that wake the tears. Tears are not failure. They are honest signals of what matters. If such nights come, I let the tears fall and hold the breath steady. Afterward, I return to the small motions: the paper, the jar, the phrase. Repetition is kind. I read the verse once more before I close this part. In peace, I will lie down and sleep. For you alone. Lord, make me dwell in safety. Let it be a last image you carry to bed, a light that watches, a hand that keeps, a place that receives. The words will not fix every question. They will, however, offer a steadying posture. Before I set the Bible down, I invite one small act. Place your hand on something that feels real. Beside your bed, a book, a glass, the edge of the nightstand. Let the contact be an anchor. Whisper one inward sentence: keep watch now. Then breathe out fully. Let the exhale take a part of the tension away. I will close this reading in a moment, but not yet. There is a next part, a closing blessing and a short offering of gratitude. The blessing will be quiet and deliberate. It will not overload the night with doctrine. It will be a few tender sentences meant to tuck the heart in and send the body towards sleep with a small confidence. For now, keep the lamp circle. Keep the container with a folded scrap. If that comforts you, let the breath be the measure of the night. Let the verse you heard be a companion on the pillow. If wakefulness returns, repeat the few motions name. Place. Breathe. Trust that someone keeps watch. Trust that safety is given now, not only after answers arrive. I place the Bible gently down. The lamp throws its warm arc. The house breathes. Rest when you are ready. The next moment will come with a short blessing to close this hour. For tonight, bring all you are to the quiet. Lay it down. Sleep in the safety that watches until morning. The lamp stays low. The page closes softly. My hand rests on the Bible for a moment, feeling the familiar weight. The room breathes with us. A slow rhythm holds the night. Thank you for coming this far with me. You have given this hour your presence. You have let the words land. You have allowed small rituals to change the shape of the evening. That matters. It matters quietly and deeply. Tonight I donot ad new doctrines. I only fold what we have practiced into a short blessing. The work of these nights has been modest. Name one thing, place it down. Breathe. Repeat. These simple motions teach the heart to trust a steady presence. They are the tools of mercy. Listen with the same soft attention. Place a hand lightly on the chest. Feel the breath. Notice how the body answers a single calm instruction. Inhale slowly. Hold a tender beat. Exhale and let a little more tension leave the shoulders. Keep the breath easy. Keep the voice in the mind kind. May peace come to the place behind the ribs. May the steady hand of presence lay itself over the places that ache. May the lamp that has watched these hours shine into the corners where fear hides. The light does not erase the past. It makes a safe circle. Rest in that circle for the night. May sorrow find a softer seat. If tears find you, let them. They are honest messengers. They do not mean failure. They mean you are human and loved. After the tears, may the chest relax a fraction. May the jaw unclench. May the shoulders fall towards sleep with less resistance. May grace meet every small weakness. Where strength feels thin, let a different strength arrive. It comes not as force, but as a quiet steadiness. Imagine a hand that steadies without rushing. Let that image be a rope in the dark. Take it if it helps. Tie a small knot with an inward phrase. And let the knot be enough for one night. May forgiveness come gently. If an old hurt returns, do not try to cure it with fury. Do a small thing instead. Name the hurt. Fold it into the small jar of the night. Trust that some tending will come in time. Tonight, allow the heart to lay a burden down for a while and permit sleep to do its slow, careful repair. May rest arrive to minds that argue with themselves, for minds that check and recheck. May a single small action break the loop. Write one line and place it where morning will find it. Let that note be a promise to your waking self that the work is scheduled. For the night, give the mind permission to stop the endless tally. May courage wake with the dawn. Not brash courage. Quiet courage that grows from small recoveries. May small acts tomorrow stand ready. One phone call. One short visit. One honest sentence. These tiny steps rebuild weary rooms over time. Sleep will not fix everything. It will give strength for the next small step. May a sense of belonging settle the lonely places. You do not carry this night alone. Countless others draw the same quiet breath. Think of a neighbor, a face, a friend, a quiet church light in a distant window. The company of those who keep watch with mercy expands a shelter. Let that company feel near tonight. May the mind be guarded with the kind of peace that keeps but does not numb. Guarding does not silence feeling. It reshapes it. It keeps the worst of the night from taking the whole house. It allows grief to have a seat without inviting it to sleep in the bed. May small images appear that mend the edge of panic. Aharbur. Achar. A bench, simple pictures that steady the hands. If a helpful image comes in a dream, treat it like a seed. Write it down lightly in the morning. Tend it with patience. It will either grow into a useful tool or remain a small comfort. Either way, it is a gift the night can give. May mercy meet the need for rest as an ordinary miracle. Mercy does its work in slow threads, not in sudden fireworks. The body mends in little ways. The heart gains a small margin of ease. Or team. Those margins widen into new habits. Trust the slow work. I give thanks for your company. This shared quiet is precious. It is not performance. It is mutual tending. The choice to sit with another voice and the Bible in the hush is an act of trust. That trust matters to the one who sits beside the lamp and to the one who listens in another city or another country. Thank you for the gift of presence. If this hour gave you a small steadiness, consider passing it on. Share a line. Not a sermon. Tell someone gently I found a practice of quiet that helps me. Invite them in a soft way. A friend needs permission to rest more than a lecture. A simple invitation might be the small mercy somebody waits to receive. Tell a neighbor about the jar practice. Send a short note. Share a short verse that help you. Not as proof, but as a hand held across the night. The community of rest grows with small invitations. Each invitation is a way to build a peaceful neighborhood of souls. The quiet spreads not by loud persuasion, but by tender example. If you keep a small token like a pebble or a slip of paper, leave it where morning can find it. Let it remind you that a choice was made this night. Let it whisper that the work of mercy continues in small acts. It will be a witness that you did something for your own rest. If sleep seems distant even now, stay patient. Wakefulness is not a failure. It is a season. Do not escalate. Return to the simple motions. Name one worry. Place it in the imagined palm of the lamp. Breathe. Repeat. Keep the voice soft. Repeat the ritual. It trains the body more than the mind. Keep trying in small acts. Each attempt is kind work. If deep fear pressing tonight needs more than a small ritual, reach for help in the morning. Call a friend. Ask a neighbor. Make one short appointment. Practical steps and spiritual practices can hold one another. The night can be tender. The day can be careful. Both are part of the same mercy. I promise to be here again if you wish. The lamp will be lit for another hour. The Bible will open. The voice will come slow. The goal is always the same, to give room for rest. To offer mercy rather than accusation. To make space for hope. For now, this moment is enough before sleep. Try one last small practice with me. Take one breath and notice the place where the ribs move. Put a light hand there if that helps. Name one simple word in the mind rest. Peace. Enough. Wait. Let the word sit like a small stone. Breathe out slowly, and let the body carry the word into the night. Now fold the palms once and rest them on the thighs or at the waist. Close the eyes if that helps. Imagine a gentle light circling the bed. Hear the quiet sounds around the house. Feel the mattress supporting the whole weight. Let the spine loosen. Let the eyelids be soft. Let sleep come if it wishes. If it does not, remain in the practice without judgment. A short prayer in the mind may help. Keep it brief. Say this inwardly at your own pace. Keep watch over this night. Keep my heart gentle. Keep my rest true. The prayer is a handing over, not a bargaining. Let it be a single seed dropped into the darkness. I am grateful for this journey of 15 nights. The path has been quiet and slow. It has moved by small steps. Each practice we have shared is a tool for the bedside. Each image is a small friend in the dark. Thank you for letting these evenings enter your life. The gift has been mutual. If it feels right, invite someone else to the next quiet hour. Send a simple message. No pressure. Just an invitation to a peaceful community. Small hearts gather into a larger shelter. That shelter holds more than one night. It becomes a habit of mercy. Now the closing. A blessing. Slow and plain. May the God who knows your every weary thought give you peace. May that peace rest like a hand across the chest. May sleep come for the body and kindness come for the heart. May dreams be gentle teachers. May morning bring one small hope to begin with. May mercy meet every need you carried here tonight. Go into the night with that blessing. Keep the lamp in the mind. Keep the breath slow. Sleep in the safety given, not earned. Rest. For the night watches and the day waits. When morning arrives, open to one small thing you can do that honors the rest you sought. A short call, a brief note, a kind act. Let the day be built of small mercies. I will close the page now. The lamp will dim soon. The house keeps its slow breathing. Rest in the steady love that does not let go. Good night.